Hi! In this video, we will take a look at a couple of examples of how weather templates can be adjusted by the meteorologists, and how graphics are rendered or taken on air. Please note that Aston is extremely flexible, and that interfaces are always customized to the individual needs of a client. In fact, creating custom control interfaces is something that we teach every client how to do. Aston is template-based, and in this project we have a wide variety of templates, all containing different weather graphics. The meteorologists can enter into these templates and modify them. Templates can either be completely data-driven, with the data being manually filled in, or alternatively, we can also have a mix of these two different workflows. Aston can easily be configured to fulfill whichever workflow you prefer, and each individual template or weather graphic can have its own workflow. In this first example, we have a weather template being driven by external data. In the background, there is a script generating new weather data every 30 minutes, and this data then automatically loads into this template when we open the template. Our control interface is located here on the right side of my screen. I can very easily choose to reload the data from the database. I can do other adjustments, such as, for example, selecting if we want to see decimal places or not, or choose if I want to display minimum or maximum temperatures. We can also very easily adjust the data that's arrived from the database. I can simply enter into this tab here, and I can see all of the different data fields in this column here. For example, should I want to change the temperature for Vallada, I could simply enter in here and write in a new value. Quite often, meteorologists also want to highlight specific regions in a map. To make that easy to do, we can simply clear out all the data, go to our search tool, and start searching for different areas. We can select an area, add the result from the database, and then edit the value as we see fit. We can also easily change other data fields, such as, for example, the title in here, which day we are in, or simply hide these fields from the render. In this second example, we have two weather maps. On the right-hand side, we have a weather map that has been automatically filled with weather data. Even so, we can easily grab one of the icons and move it to our desired location. On the left-hand side, however, we have an empty weather map. We can easily have a workflow where we let the meteorologists themselves fill in the maps as they choose. On the bottom part of my interface, I have a list of icons. I can very easily drag and drop in new icons to the map. I can very easily scale them, should I so wish to do, or simply move them to a different location. Note that we can have a large variety of different icons. We can group the icons in folders, letting the meteorologists have their own favorite icons to use. In this case, for example, I'm going to enter into my text folder, and I'm going to add a simple text map in here to let me display a temperature number. As you can see, I can easily double click on this icon and just change the temperature amount. I can also very easily delete this icon if I, for example, made a mistake, and if I want to have a different background, I'll just drag and drop that into my template and change the value. In addition to this, we can also have icons that indicate, for example, the temperature going up or down, and those can also very easily be dragged and dropped into the interface. As you can see, creating weather maps can be extremely easy, and all of these icons that we have in here can easily be customized, and new ones can be created to fit the storytelling language of your channel. Now we'll see another example of a weather template, very similar to the one that you requested. Now, what's very important in a weather template is the capability of querying data and the user friendliness to the operator and the meteorologist. So here in this weather template, we have a simple operational interface where the meteorologist or the operator can fill in data. That is to say, if we would want to have, for example, the weather of London, we could simply write in London in here and fetch new data. We can then play in the animation and we can see that we are now displaying the weather of London. Now, if I change this back to Luanda, we can see that simply by playing the template back in, I now have the weather of Luanda. Now, weather forecasts or weather data is not always accurate, and sometimes the meteorologists might want to make changes to the provided automatic data. So due to that reason, in the Operations tab, we still retain full control of editing the values in here. As you can see, I can very easily write in a new value, and I can even change the icons and the headlines very easily. Let's say, for example, that I disagree with the climate being cloudy. I could simply write in sunny, and I can even do the same for the icon. If I write in sunny in here, you can see that the icon automatically changes to represent sunny. Now, not only that, we can also very easily render out this template for future use in a non-linear editing system or simply for transfer to a video server. I can go to my export tab in here and render out a movie, and this will automatically generate a broadcast ready video clip that I can then provide to my broadcast center. So let me just drag this video in here to the screen so that you can see it. Just 1 second. In here we have the video clip we just generated, and as you can see, it contains all the animation. This means that an operator or a meteorologist could simply query new cities and render them out as movie files. In addition, naturally, we could also be in a playout mode where an operator would be playing out these templates or a variety of different templates with data for different cities. We also retain full control of, for example, changing the day we want. So instead of having the weather forecast for today, we can simply request the weather forecast tomorrow. And as you can see, we've automatically queried the date for tomorrow, and the titles also automatically change to reflect that. On top of that, background colors, images, and so on can very, very easily be adjusted, as can languages and so on. Now let's take a look on how we could operate this template in a touchscreen and a few other examples. Now, before I start with the touchscreen, please note that even though in the last example we rendered out a movie, we could also very easily take these graphics live on air through SDI signals if we would wish to do so. Now, on this computer, I actually have a touchscreen in front of me. So I'm just going to click here and press F11 to take this into full screen and operate it as a touchscreen with a physical touchscreen. Now, when you design touchscreen templates, you use the standard Aston design tools, and you can have many templates at the same time. So in here, for example, we've chosen to have like a welcome screen, and if I press on this first button here, I get to my menu. And this could, for example, be a menu of different weather templates. So first, let's go to that template we just saw in editing mode. I'll select this template here. As we can see, it opens up with the city that we've configured. Now, I could very easily click on this icon here on top right, selecting to go to the next city. And this is one way that the meteorologist or the presenter could swap from city to city with a touchscreen. They could also use a clicker. It could be done by an operator in the control room. Really, whatever you want. We're very flexible with these templates, so it's really a question for you to decide how you want to operate them. We can also return to the previous menu very easily. All of this can be customized. This is just an example template. Another typical thing, for example, would be to have people send videos in. So we could, for example, very easily select from different videos that have been sent in by people. We could click on them to stop the video, click on them again to restart it, and we can even paint over all of these templates. So painting is not only limited to this specific template, you can paint over any of your designs. So we just have a painting menu in here, and the painting menu can look exactly as you want. These are just icons that our designer has decided to create, and I can enable my painting mode in here, and with my finger I can very easily paint. I can very easily, for example, change the colors that I want to paint with, and these painting shape and thickness and size and color and so on is completely customizable. These are just examples, and I can very easily also reset my painting. So the operator can very easily highlight certain things, and if you don't want to highlight by painting, you could also use things like magnifying glasses and so on, and highlight different areas that way. Now let's take a look at one last example. So let me remove my painting tools and let me return to that main menu. Now sometimes meteorologists also want to move their map around by using their fingers, using a touch screen. So this last example is just a very simple example of something like that. In here we could have a map with graphics, with temperatures, with isobars and so on, and I can very easily just enter 2 fingers on the screen, and if I move my fingers further or closer to each other, we can see that I can very easily zoom in the map. I can also rotate the map just by pressing down 2 fingers on the screen, or I can just translate the map, move to one area or the other by just dragging and dropping on the touchscreen. So these would be typical modes on how to operate weather templates on a touchscreen, but naturally you can operate them at the same time from your control room, from a clicker, and we'll be happy to integrate any kind of control interface that you might want to have. To give you an idea of how the control interface could look like for an operator in the control room, let's see how weather graphics work in playout mode and how they're operated with on-demand. I can very easily create rundowns and take graphics either to preview or to program. As a meteorologist, I would be taking this graphic to preview. I would be editing the fields that I want to edit, for example, writing in a new location. I could then preview this graphic with this data and save it in a rundown for the operator to take on air in the morning show. I can also easily take this graphic onto my program channel by simply pressing the spacebar button. We can also duplicate this template as many times as we want. We do not need to create a new template for each city that we want to display. I can simply duplicate the item in here, write in that instead of Stockholm, this new item or this new graphic will be displaying the weather of London, and I'll press my OK button. I now have the same template instanced twice, which means that in this graphic here, I'll be displaying the weather for London, and in this other one, I'll be displaying the weather for Stockholm. I can very easily, of course, rename these items, move them, and so on. But the situation is that the operator can very easily use the rundown with the graphics prepared by the meteorologist and simply press spacebar to take on air the next city. We hope that this video has answered any of the questions that you might have, but please feel free to contact us if you have any other questions. Thank you for your time.